1. Chuck Norris doesn't break up with women. He lets them know they have been promoted to X status. And then, with a single raised eyebrow, he transports a father into the room to witness the event. Before the father can utter a word, Chuck gives him a high five that somehow feels like a slap, and the old man immediately apologizes for every inconvenience his daughter has ever caused. 2. Chuck Norris would send a woman a breakup text, but the sheer power of his message causes her phone to self-destruct. As her dad tries to intervene, Chuck simply looks at him, and the man drops to his knees, begging for forgiveness for the years wasted. 3. Chuck Norris doesn't ghost. He performs a disappearing act so flawless, even David Copperfield takes notes. Her dad shows up to protest, only to find himself apologizing profusely after Chuck's stare-down makes him realize the true value of Chuck's time. 4. Chuck Norris would deliver the news via a well-placed roundhouse kick to a wall, spelling out "it's over" in the plaster. Her dad, attempting to salvage the situation, gets a gentle but firm pat on the back that reverberates through his soul, causing him to apologize for every minute Chuck spent with his daughter. 5. Chuck Norris doesn't use post-it notes. He uses concrete slabs. His breakup message etched into one is unmissable. Her dad arrives to mediate, but after Chuck slaps a fly off his shoulder, the dad is compelled to apologize for all the past, present, and future disturbances. 6. Chuck Norris doesn't need to break up in person. He sends a roundhouse kick through the airwaves that communicates the end. Her dad, feeling the force from miles away, rushes to Chuck's house only to end up on his knees, apologizing for the mere existence of the relationship. 7. Chuck Norris sends a woman a breakup haiku, thus, "No more, goodbye. Your dad will apologize. My time is precious." When her dad arrives to protest, Chuck's sigh alone is enough to make him beg for forgiveness. 8. Chuck Norris would organize a flash mob, but instead of dancing, they all perform synchronized breakups. Her dad tries to crash the event, but one look from Chuck has him joining the mob, apologizing for not realizing Chuck's importance sooner. 9. Chuck Norris breaks up with his girlfriend by changing his relationship status telepathically. Her dad, catching wind of this, rushes over but finds himself apologizing after Chuck teleports a vision of regret into his mind. 10. Chuck Norris would take a woman skydiving and break up with her midair, whispering "it's over" into the wind. Her dad, waiting on the ground, feels a slap of air so powerful that he immediately apologizes for every second Chuck spent with his daughter. 11. Chuck Norris breaks up with a woman via a PowerPoint presentation that ends with a mic drop. Her dad tries to intervene, but a single raised finger from Chuck makes him apologize, promising never to waste Chuck's time again. 12. Chuck Norris doesn't need words. He carves the breakup into a mountain. Her dad, trekking to the summit, finds Chuck waiting and apologizes before he even reaches the top, overwhelmed by Chuck's monumental gesture. 13. Chuck Norris sends a carrier pigeon with a breakup note. Her dad intercepts it, but before he can read, the pigeon slaps him with its wing, making him apologize for taking up Chuck's valuable time. 14. Chuck Norris would bake a breakup cake with the words "we're done" in icing. Her dad, taking a bite, feels the slap of flavor so intense that he immediately apologizes for any inconvenience caused by the relationship. 15. Chuck Norris doesn't just break up. He rewrites history to ensure they were never together. Her dad, sensing the temporal disturbance, apologizes preemptively for any perceived misuse of Chuck's time, knowing full well that Chuck's decisions are never wrong. After the breakup, Chuck Norris would walk to her father's house, knock on the door, and when her dad opened it, Chuck would slap him so fast the man wouldn't even know what hit him. With a firm voice, Chuck would say, "Apologize for wasting my time." The dad, dazed and confused, would stutter an apology. Chuck would then pull out a card that said, "Lesson learned. Never mess with Chuck Norris." He'd walk away into the sunset, only to roundhouse kick it into a beautiful sunrise, because Chuck Norris never ends anything on a bad note.